What is up, guys? Time for some super fun Lightroom stuff. Taking some boring pictures, making them super awesome. That's what Lightroom gives us the ability to do. No. I want to import it. Okay, so first picture. I think what I'm going to do is mess with this guy. It's a GoPro picture under the water. It was a hot spring, I'm pretty sure, out in Utah. So I'm just going to mess with some things, make it a little bit more exciting. I'm really actually liking this, like, all this crap that's like floating in the water and like the bubbles and stuff. Maybe a little bit too bright though. Just with the highlights. It's not too much. Just interested, yeah. I think the white balance will be able to do anything. I like it this super blue though, because obviously I mean you're underwater, so that's pretty nice. I don't think you really want it any other way. Also, the thing I kind of like about this picture is like complete accent on taking this with a GoPro out of the water. But this like natural kind of like framing that this shadow does out here. See with the saturation, I might want to make the blue a little more saturated. Depends. I don't know how much of like a range of colors I really want in this image. I mean, I like this like this big bright, but then it's like this lighter blue right here, and then like another blue right here, all the way out. It just keeps getting darker, which I really like. The vibrancy. I might turn that on a little bit just to make it a little bit more detailed. Speaking of detail panel, I gotta zoom in for this, as you can't really tell what the what the sharpening is actually doing in Lightroom without like zooming into 100%. Like, you'll think you'll know what it's doing, but it's actually not, and then you kind of have to like go back and forth. So yeah, I can definitely see a little bit of sharpening. I mean, I don't know if you guys can see it, but I don't know, it's just enough. I might turn the radius down just a smidge. You're really getting these different little pieces like super sharp. Yeah. I'll zoom back out. Do some masking on the sharpness though. Highly recommend going through and always just kind of going through to make sure that you're actually sharpening only really the things that you need to sharpen. Otherwise, you're kind of, I know it does a little bit of degradation to the picture overall if you sharpen everything. I mean, it's hard to see, but I mean, you know, the like over sharpening effect that kind of screws pictures over. You don't want to do that. I don't think there should be any really noise reduction. It was a pretty bright picture, good exposure in general. might actually be it for this one. It's a weird rainbow spot right there. Well, I'm really liking it. Let's mark that. Just look at the next ones in the set, just to kind of see. Yeah, this one's not near as good without the rock to like really give you a point of focus that's not just this big bright spot. My friend with the GoPro, taking a picture of himself while he's down below. Another one. And most of the pictures of the set aren't, they're not really pictures, they're just like videos. Let's see. Down below, below. Yeah, lots of videos. Go back out to grid so I can see what we have to work with. Basically just like picking out random pictures from my library that I haven't really given any time of day to, just because when you take so many pictures, you just can't get to all of them. And a lot of times there are some real gems in there that, I mean, maybe you don't notice initially because it doesn't look that great on your screen of your camera, but you go into Lightroom and just kind of tweak with the settings a little bit, and suddenly you have something that's can be pretty unique. So yeah, any of you guys that are watching and have any questions, just pop them up in chat. Introduce yourselves. Let's see. A lot of very kind of weird images from, this is a trip with some friends out to Utah. So a lot of like touristy pictures, but every once in a while there's like a couple that stick out. Let's see. Yeah. Not really digging that. Horizon pictures are fine, but I've edited a lot of those. Let's see, some ones from when I was up in Seattle. So this one might be a good one. It's not really like a boring image, but something I've never actually gone back and looked at before. Fit that back to the screen. Yeah, it's not a bad image. Nice, like repeating things draws you directly up to the subject. But might actually be cool with this sky right here, with the clouds and then the blue behind it. What we can actually do is put that into black and white and get some really cool effects. This also will actually work really well with the tower since it's white, and then this the top deck, I guess, is really dark, and these windows down here are dark. Go ahead and switch that to black and white. Yeah, this initial conversion is never super great. But what we can do is over here with these sliders, it's a black and white mix, and we can kind of pick which colors map to which colors, or not which colors, which shades of gray or black, and so we can get some really cool things. So up here, if I just click on that, and I go up to blue, and then just drop that down, we're already getting some really awesome contrast with the sky, making that a lot darker. It's done a little bit of damage over, especially right here, to like the clouds, where there's probably like little flecks of blue. Because if you drop down any of these sliders too much, it'll actually start kind of messing with everything else, and you get kind of weird like banding effects. Let's see what we can do. I think, is that really blue also? A quick pop out of this. Look, I think actually one of the big issues here is the white balance is incorrect. There. Even though we're doing a black and white picture, making sure the white balance first is good because now, yeah, it was a little blue tinted everywhere, so I was messing actually with more than I wanted to. So drop that. But then I can grab like these yellow and orange ones on the tower because now they're like a warmer hue because the white balance is up warmer than it initially was, and make those a little brighter. The big problem right here, I think, is these windows. They're really dark. I mean, it's kind of foreboding. It's like this nice kind of like contrast between like the windows and then going up the tower. We'll see how it is. I'm just gonna bump the contrast overall. Yeah, it's getting really dark, so I'm gonna actually increase the shadows. So the blue is still bothering me a little bit. And then decreasing highlights and whites. Get a slightly better exposed image. Maybe drop that exposure just a smidge. And now the picture is a lot more balanced, I think. I think the last bit of finishing this one up is going to be bumping the clarity up. That's going to add just a smidge of like brightness and contrast to some of those areas where it wasn't really popping before. So mainly like the edges of the tower, and then like the edges up here along the top of the deck. So yeah, I'm thinking this is probably done right here. Right? So I think it's actually in the whites. Bump that up just a little. Let's kind of see what it looks like. Just up here, bringing back more brightness in the clouds. I think that right there is done. Let's pop back out to grid. Let's see. I think this image was like, it's like one of those ones. Well, I think I took this one here with the idea that I would edit it, and I did. But then this one, same kind of content, but it's a lot different, like subject. Like the way that you're looking at it is so different that it's like a completely different image. Not sure if I'm a big fan of that white balance. I think having it be a little bit more of a cooler image, but then bumping the exposure to brighten that up. Yeah, I think that's a better way to go. See, I think the big part of this one is that there's a big loss of contrast because this picture was taken while it was cloudy, and obviously all there is clouds. So bringing this up to get a little bit more of the mountains back here, but then we're gonna really have to mess with this stuff in here if we want some of the stuff to like really pop. I think separating these out, but then bringing the shadows up, especially with this foreground, so we get the detail back right here. And these mountains, kind of a hassle. What I think I'm going to do, over here, grab this tool, I don't remember what it's called, gradient filter. And what I'm going to do is separate out so I have a different, so as you can see right here, it'll show out like a different like series of edits to different sides of it. I just darkened that just so I could get a better view on where exactly I want this. Right on the right point. But then obviously you don't want it to be that much darker, just a little bit. So we're getting more shadow detail. We actually might want to drop that Problem is I don't want it to be so different from the foreground that it looks really like off. So I might actually have to darken the whole thing. Bring this back up. So I'm getting the exposure that I actually want in that background. Not sure how much saturation I want in this image. The mountains are like crazy blue. This front part. It's nice to get the saturation back down here, but I think I might have to do some like split color kind of stuff. Where I go to like the orange and just kind of decrease that just a little bit. I'm thinking also with the blue just to like mess with the mountains a little bit more. Make them a little bit more gray. Yeah. That's probably good. See, back with the mountains. See, just kind of, yeah, that clarity bump, super helpful right there. Let's see that again. I think something else that might be helpful, actually, for, so we'll see, this dehazing. It's kind of it's a weird kind of new edit that I introduced in like the last couple months that does a couple things across your whole. I mean, if you watch the histogram while you do it, it's kind of. I mean, it's moving all your colors in a certain way, so it's like more saturated, but it's also not. But it's not like making things super bright on the bright end. It's actually bringing those down a little bit. I don't know how they figured that out, that it actually take out haze, but it works pretty well. And just like applying it just a little bit on some images where you're like, that doesn't just like look the best. It's just like a little hazy, a little cloudy, just like a smidge of that. Somewhere up to like 25, just like I think really boosts the image overall. So I think I'm done with that. I think the mountains are good. The overall exposure for this thing is really confusing. I think just bumping it up actually probably the way I'm going to have to do it. Leave it something like this. Yes, the last thing is just detail. Back to zoom into 100%. Looking especially at like this moss right here, kind of judge. It's like just enough so you can actually kind of start to see it from far away. I mean, obviously this picture is on a screen that's nowhere near the size of the image. So, I mean, a print of this would be kind of cool. Might have to consider doing that. Just to kind of see. Let's do our masking. Something like that. I think the image is done. Back out to grid, let's see. A lot of really strange images in this set. Switching, got the super bright over here is in some gardens to like the most cloudy day. Just like all over the mountains, which is like really cool. but makes editing pictures a little weird. Bump the contrast, but then increase the shadow so we get the trees back. The highlights a bit, the whites, increase the clarity. Not too much of a difference. I think it just actually made it bluer. I want to turn this to black and white just because everything is so like purpley blue. Oops. Wrong thing. Yeah, the water's so green. Like messing with that separate from the trees is really hard. That might be the way to go. Right there. Only real issue here is this part where it's kind of gone and like just like crushed the detail. I might not do too much with this one. It's not, to me, it's not the most interesting picture. And if you're not interested in your picture, then no matter how much editing you do to it, nobody else really is going to be that into it. So. Oh no, Lightroom. Sorry, Lightroom crashed. It just really crashed again. Oh my god. Lightroom issues all over the place. Okay. Lots of issues there. Still having lots of issues. unbelievably slow right now. So I'm just gonna jump up somewhere. See where we land. This is insane how slow this is. Let me try one of these. Nice silhouette picture. You can like barely see that there's a road there. If we increase the shadows, you can see that. Not sure what I want. I can go pure black. And like lots of stuff. Oh god, so much saturation. And then vibrance will just like screw that over. I want to definitely keep a nice like gradient right here. Sharpening is actually pretty easy in silhouettes. So I keep it on those edges. The thing with this, since I made everything go to black, messing with the crop. Get it. Maybe. Okay. Some weird lines there. See if there's any other. Let's hit this off. I don't know what that is. I like car lights actually. Look at the roads right there. Think about one. See if I can get rid of that. I should be able to with. It's right here. Yeah. Click on a couple of these things that I know aren't actually just like light coming through the trees. It's a little distracting. That's pretty much it. weird jet thing right up here. Some of this stuff, it's like reflecting metal. I like the waves in here. Looks like I might need a little bit of color noise reduction. It's hard to tell. Let's mess with the sharpening. So, whoop, whoop. It's not here. Still keeping it on these like ripples, which I think are super nice. And like just the silhouette stuff on here. Should be good. Pop back to grid. Looking for more stuff to edit. There's like some waterfall stuff. It's nothing terribly special. It's a weird eagle picture. Very unexciting picture. I'm just gonna make it black and white. So it's already vignetting a bit. You can see it probably just because it was just like a straight background. I'm going to actually put a vignette on that direction. Effects. Vignette. Up here. So the contrast doesn't actually work that well. You can see the feathers on it now. That's kind of cool. It's a very strange ray image. Might actually have to work with. Yeah, doing some of that. Yeah, I don't know if I should crop it or not. More climbing. So that's the end of the raw pictures way up here. Way back. about them. Mark your pictures so you actually know which ones are good. You don't forget about them. So eventually you'll just get lost in all of your pictures. Go back down. Something around here. Oh god. Depth of field is screwing with me on this one. There's some cool pollen stuff going on here. Just crop it down straight to that. I'm going to go one by one. Flower pictures are normally pretty boring, but it's good. It's good practice, I think. Just to deal with something like this, where you're trying to really get this detail back out. Pretty contrast. Make that a little darker. Right there. Let's see if I can actually knock that like it. Let's see what we get. Specific saturation levels. Some of these in here. Very purple. And what I'm actually going to do is bring this into Photoshop and take away the background, turn that to black and white, and a little bit more out of focus than it is right now. Give the flower complete focus. So how we're going to do that is quick select tool, because it's awesome, and this should be actually a pretty easy selection. Might have to mess with a couple petals. What if we drag off the flower like that? That out. The holding option makes it so that it turns into a minus, which is like the most useful thing ever for this tool. Not having to go up into that toolbar just to go back and forth between plus and minus. It's like super useful. It speeds up your workflow, especially when you use this tool a lot, which you should be. It's one of probably the most used selection tools. But most of the other ones are very special. Like, you're just not gonna use them for things that aren't very specific. So yeah, we got that. Let's get a good, nice, sharp flower. If we just hit any of the adjustment layers, it'll auto mask out what you had selected. Obviously, this is the exact backwards of what we wanted. Just go into masks, invert that, and voila, we've already got all this background out of the way. Flower right here is looking nice and sharp. The last thing I think I'm going to do is blur the background some more, because especially like these needles right here in the upper right are really drawing people's attention with them being really bright and like they're actually really focused. At least compared to like this back part, which isn't too bad right now. And since we have this mask right here already, we can basically deal with that without having to do any more selection. You can just kind of drag this mask around to get rid of stuff. So the first thing I think I'm going to do is brightness contrast. Drag the mask over here. Yeah, we want to replace that. Now they have the same mask. Yeah. Decrease the brightness on the back. So now it's like, you see the difference. Now the flower really, really sticks out. But it seems like there's a couple like weird little things right here. I have to fix that. Yes. The next thing I'm going to do there's a couple ways I can blur the background. I think the easiest way is actually going to be to separate the content layers out. So if you command click on anything, mask or content, like when you're holding down command, it'll actually give you your original outline for that, or it'll like just select what's there. So we got that. I'm just going to rip out the flower and make them into two separate layers. Let's see, inverse that. And while we're on the layer that actually has the stuff that we want, Command J. And so now we have it on a separate layer. I mean, the back layer still has that. Command J actually just copies anything that you have either in that layer or in that is selected, and just like copies that into a new layer, which is super duper helpful. So now, rid of that block on that last layer. And take that. If you just go to blur gallery, actually no, not blur gallery. The gallery is for special things. Normal blur, Gaussian blur. It's a little bigger. As it does an automatic because it's like previewing the whole thing. So that's what it normally is. Probably not too much blur. If we like just blur it like a ton, we start getting a weird halo effect around the flower, and that's definitely not what we want. So it's actually probably where about it was initially. Get a good effect on that. Okay. So now this image is, I think, significantly better than it was originally. Got some good sharp flower that is sticking out from the background a lot more than it was. From brightness, black and white. So you can see how much blur that was. So the last piece of this, if I decide to go through with it, we'll see how I feel when we zoom into 100. There's a weird halo effect along this side of the flower. It's not actually present on the other part of it. I think I can fix this with mask edge. So if I shift it the other way. Okay, let me option drag that place. It's a little better. It's not more as much of a halo now as like the flower outline, which it's like a weird outline shadow. I have to re-output this flower. Yeah. No, actually, no, I can't do that because I put it wrong. Whatever, I don't care a whole lot, so I'm not gonna use this for anything. It's just editing practice. So I'm just going to save it and probably never come back, but all practice is good practice. So I'm back in the lightroom. It's a lot of arch pictures. Wheels and arches. Not terribly interesting though. Like once you get that like good arch picture, everything else is kind of the same. And I've already gone through those. Oh, back up here. I've edited some of these in the past, like a lot of time ago. This canyon's kind of interesting. Take a little bit of a closer look. So getting a black and white on this might be kind of cool. Yeah, it's already like crazy contrasty with the shadows. Push out the data. Preserve the highlights so that they are full of texture. It's pretty good. Just notice it's actually my friends is down here. Didn't even notice that. It could be like a treasure in this picture. You're like, oh, look at all these, and then as you're like scanning along, eventually you just like run into them. So let's try the same basic edits, I guess, to some other parts of Bryce Canyon. See what comes out of it. I think a lot of my other ones now, like if I go back up to the beginning where I'm like overlooking it, actually, and it's not. For a second, I thought I'd like took a panorama of it. I didn't. So that's not the best viewpoint. Something like this. We're just going to straight to black and white. Up the contrast. Take this. Lower the sky so it's dark. Up the rocks. I mean, it looks fine enough. Looking through these. See if anything catches my eye. Bryce Canyon is actually so big you can't really get it all in on one image. This is like so wide. It's like despite the fact that I was shooting at 18, so that's as wide as I can go with my current lenses. Couldn't really get like the sense of it. Oh, this is a decent picture though. Like if you're, as long as you're like willing to like kind of screw this stuff over here, there's a lot of really good stuff right here. Okay, this guy, same kind of thing. Sky, you're so bright. Shadows, blacks. So now there's almost like too much going on. Let me just like shoot this through the sky. Now it's just like eye overload. That's one of like the problems with black and whites. It's really, really easy to just kind of go overboard if your content isn't like super well thought out. You just like run into a lot of just like problems with like just having so much like contrast, like flipping back and forth, that your eyes just like can't handle it. This one might be good. There's not like so much happening here. It's still a little bright on the eyes though. I think my camera just kind of, in general, overexposed this set. A little unfortunate, but not hard to fix at all. Yeah, it's decent enough. Might actually, just want to see what the lens correction does with this. It moves those back and stretches that up. Yeah, I like it better with it enabled. First, I'm going to try some manual. So it's actually moving that distortion back. Yeah, I don't like that. Enable that. I think that's actually the best way to do this one, just the straight up and down. Especially with all these. Making the distortion too much kind of ruins it. See, I thought there was snow down here. It's not really as exciting as I thought it was. Friends walking in front of me. Waiting for me. I think there's one of the ones over here, which I really kind of like. A little bit. Most of the recoveries in shadows. Yeah, probably vignette this. A lot going on around the corners. Not that much. Oh god. Just enough. Your eyes don't notice it, but it still brings you, like, darkens this so your eyes don't really go to that. It's probably actually your eyes should go to this first, which is unfortunate. The highlights down. It's down a little bit more. Actually, probably increase exposure. That's still not the best. Let's see. Blurry red picture. I don't know if I ever got a good picture of this bird. No. It's almost sharp. Perfect. The friends. Oh god, look at the overexposed sky. There's no way. Ah, magical raw format stuff. Somewhere around here is probably what I should have taken the exposure at. Yeah, reasons to shoot in RAW. You can actually fix pictures that you royally screwed the exposure over. It just like wasn't thinking apparently about how like big the dynamic range of this picture was, and the fact that my camera really couldn't handle it. I mean, there's still like this little brightness up here, which isn't the greatest, but I mean, it's not like the worst thing. I've had much worse in terms of like just drawing your eye away from what you actually want them to look at. Nice rock textures. Somebody in the background. Just take a picture of something. More like documenting pictures than actual art pictures that I had some kind of idea for. Well, this guy. Let's see, I think with some family or like group of friends who passed. That didn't wait at all for them to get completely out of the picture. Thor's hammer. Rock with holes. Hit it with tiny fire. This did not turn out very well. I can save it. Kind of. The sky is pretty much screwed no matter what. I'd probably crop it out and actually do something well with it. Oh, this one's decent. Just get a little bit more detail. This bit right here is really cool. What do I do? One of these. Here, increase So it doesn't look so wonky. It still looks a little. It might just be the sky though. That's too much. Oh, you know what? I don't know this picture anymore. It's like these are so distinctly different that it's like drawing your eye in a really bad way. And I also just noticed Walter Rock thing off the left. But now this isn't centered. This is very tall. There we go. Yeah, that works for this part. No distractions. That probably works the best. It's a very weird kind of image. True. Manually fixing the red part. Sharpening is going to super important. Just get that. Manually fixing the red part. Sharpening is going to super important. Just get that. Oh, that's really cool. I actually really like this image. I don't know why I didn't even like take note of it before. Let's see what's next to it. Texture. I'll use that more as a texture than anything, but oh yeah, that looks so much better. So I probably could grab this white balance. Just copy it over here. Pretty sure they were taken within seconds of each other. There we go. A little bit better than the manual job. I was going in the right direction though. I really love this texture in here, but I mean, I'm sure it's hard to see it online. I want a black and white. Nah, actually, I like that. It's actually more contrasty there. I don't want to do that too much. Actually, let's blur it on your guys' end. Just look through the slight previews. Some image sets that I've actually looked at quite a bit. And some fireworks. I've already edited all those. I've already edited this guy, but he doesn't look done. Maybe he does. Maybe. Oh no, I remember I was having issues with getting that without really getting the highlights out on these trees. So I kept screwing that up. Sometimes that's like one of the biggest issues with black and white. Also, the edges when you're trying to map the colors to something that's just like really weird. Especially like I just find it with the sky all the time, or like a lake. It'll just like if like something is like up against it, like trees or something floating, and then you just like drop that really low. It's like this area right here. It'll just like destroy any sense of like the original like coloring there. It just doesn't look good anymore. Cave pictures. They're all touristy though. I mean, I'm sure eventually I'd to like pick out a couple of those. Bunch of animal pictures. These might be interesting challenges because everybody's in shadow. Out on the road. That's a video. It's also awkward because we're not allowed to get out of your car. True. It's on there. Still a true. This first one. It's really goofy. Wow, I didn't video it. It's kind of funny. So I think I'll find one more picture, and that'll be it for this session. I feel a bit tired. These animal ones now. Bunch of boots. Oh god, this lady. This lady. Screwing up my pictures of the Alamo. Just testing it out. Move the lens. The long one. Start getting into a lot of night stuff. I already edited most of those. So I see a lot of these I've already edited. Panorama stuff. This is like so busy. All the leaves. Night stuff. Night stuff. Wandering around at night. It's new. A couple of pictures I really like out of this thing, but I already edited it all. I think I might come back to. Massively greatly. To find something I actually like. I'm not really finding anything. I really like all these. I think I'm done then. See you guys later. Pretty sure there's nobody there though. It's been a very quiet editing time.